What's your name? Zabo? Ooh, that's different.
Welcome, 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 guys. Thank you guys for tuning in today. My pilot, Big Jeff, is actually, I think I hear him now. He's on the way. He'll be here in just a moment. But I am happy that today is TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, right? This has been a really, really long week. But just a quick recap of some things that happened this week. We were able to make it to the Douglas County rally, and stood in solidarity with the family of Malachi Mitchell. Malachi Mitchell is the young man that was murdered in Douglas County, Georgia, and the person that took his life um, was not charged. They was able to go home the same night with their family, and no answers were given to the family of Malachi Mitchell. And hopefully his mother will be back up here with an update. We're on a countdown right now. The Douglas County DA has said that she would have a decision based on the police investigation that she received a few days ago. But she said she would have a decision within 30 days, and I think we're on day 26 now. So, because that was like 4 days ago. And then when she said that she would have that decision, the family found out through a news reporter at the rally, like live. So we don't know what's going on and why they're not giving they're not communicating with the Mitchell family. But we're gonna have his mother on here and Miss Kenya, and she'll be able to go into more detail. But just to give you guys a brief update of what's going on with that, go to Justice, the number 4, Malachi, Malachi. The website is it's on Instagram. It's Justice for Malachi, and it's the number 4. So you guys be sure to stick with that, follow that story, and just lift the family in prayer, because at the end of the day, they lost someone that was true and loved, true and dear to them, and dear to us too. Even though I didn't know him prior, it is something that is dear to me as well. And I pray that justice will be served. Also, there was a shooting at the Army base, Fort Stewart, I believe it was, in Georgia this week. There was an active shooter, and I want to say 4 or 5 people it was 5 soldiers that were shot at Fort Stewart. So we again condolences. I don't think anyone is deceased, but we still give our sympathies, our prayers with the soldiers that were injured during that shooting at Fort Stewart, and we extend our prayers for that situation, because at the end of the day, it's still a tragic situation that has occurred. It's tragic, and we want to show our love and our support to those families that's dealing with those tragic tragedies at this time. And also in other news, Diddy requested bail for an early release, and it was denied. And he his legal team is now in communication with President Trump's team, because he is wanting to request a pardon. And previously, the president was considering that until I guess he received word that, and this is all alleged, he received word that Diddy had said some things about him prior to his him becoming the president again. And so the pardon pretty much is off the table. Trump was like, we were friends and I was going to pardon him, but since he had words about me, I don't think that's going to happen. So, yikes. You got to be careful how you treat people. You don't know who you'll need again down the line. And people, and I'm not saying Diddy did this. This is my personal opinion and my personal views. People treat people, certain kind of ways, and then you turn around and then you need that person later. So that's why they say it's not good to burn bridges because you never know what bridge you got to go and cross again. So now he's at the mercy of the president because it doesn't seem like the judge and the courts have any mercy, on him. So it's still up to President Trump whether he decides to pardon Diddy or not. And we'll wait and see how that goes. I know that they're trying to pin him in connection with this Epstein saga. And I know a subpoena was granted actually this week as well to get those records to see, you know, if the president was involved, whether he was involved or not. They're going back and forth about that issue right now. So, again, we'll wait and see. You know, I don't really know that much about that case, but it just seems to be something that is constantly in the media now. And, we're trying to see what's going on. And then what else happened this week? Shannon Sharp. He was terminated with ESPN. He lost his job after he did the settlement, and then actually right after he did the settlement, another lawsuit popped up. So he's having to deal with that, and also without having a job. So it's like, wow, was it worth it? So yeah. Welcome, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome, 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 welcome. And let's see. And then also what's going on here too. So they're doing a lot of redistricting, and they're at this point and stage in my life, I consider myself nonpartisan. Um, so I'm not for one way or the other. It depends on what the law is, and if that is something that I go with whoever is for as far as what is near and dear to me. And so right now, both Republicans and Democrats are going back at each other about these new redistricting. I know today, President Trump, there was a judge that shot down the natural immunization where the immigrants are born in the United States. Um, so President Trump was wanting to not grant citizenship to the people that were born to immigrants that entered illegally. And now we had a judge just today. He shot that down. Um, he actually pretty much overruled President Trump, and he's still allowing the United States citizenship to stand. So if a child was born here in the United States, whether his parents are here illegally or not, that child is still considered a United States citizen as of right now, per the judge that overruled President Trump. So we'll see how that goes. He has been overruled a couple of times, but he seems to come back later and get what he wants. So we'll see how that goes as well. So what do you guys think about that as far as the citizenship goes? Do you think a person born in the United States should receive automatic United States birth rights, even if their parents were here illegally? I don't know. No? I guess that's something we will definitely have to see how it plays out in court. And other good news, did you see Young Thug at the school? He's been making his rounds and visiting the schools, encouraging the youth, and just being a positive figure in the community and talking to the youth about staying in school and just been real good. Just excellent, 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 excellent experience. Hopefully, his conditions will be reconsidered and in his favor pretty soon here. We're definitely praying for that and keeping him lifted in our prayers as well. And in the world of hip hop, the rapper that goes by the name of Erica Banks, she was arrested at the airport for having an alleged stolen gun. And I did see a clip from her attorney. Um, I think his name the Fly guy, the Fly attorney, real cool dude. He was saying that she had no idea that that gun was stolen. So how can you arrest her, charge her with being in possession of a stolen gun that she didn't even know was stolen or had no knowledge of? So that's interesting. I wonder did she even know it was in her purse? Because I think you can check guns in at the airport. I don't know. I don't know why she wouldn't check it in with the luggage. Um, than to be subjected to having to be arrested for having it in her purse, whether it was stolen or not. I don't think you can just have it in your purse. I think it has to be a check-in item. Not sure of that, but Erica, we hope you get everything worked out. You definitely have one of the best attorneys to handle it. So yeah, people are reaching out about. Yeah, I did. I read that too. I did read about Soldier Boy was charged as well. I don't know the details of that. I didn't read more into that. But I did hear a little bit about that, but I didn't go into detail to read because I was busy with, you know, other things this week. So I don't know that much about what happened with Soldier Boy. What do you guys think about what happened on Basketball Wise with Jackie Chrissy and her daughter Chantel? Like, I don't know. I just don't think that was a good look for her to be fighting her mom on public television like that. Because at first I was like, well, maybe it was, part of the show. Sometimes you got to do a little acting for ratings. So at first I was thinking that, okay, well, maybe it's just part of the show. But then it's like, no, she's actually, um, it was a real fight. And in other words, also, what happened, Dr. Umar Johnson is stating that his bank accounts are all frozen. And there's been a lot of debate that I've read online about that. I read that it was some guy on Facebook, I can't remember his name, and he was saying, "You guys are stupid for sending him money," and And don't send this man all your money if his accounts are frozen. And what about this school he's supposed? But I think he did have a school. You know, it's like this. In everything, there are going to be good and bad. There's going to be good supporters and there's going to be negative supporters. That's in everything. So, how can you tell somebody not to send somebody money? If that's what they want to do with their money, that's what they want to do with their money. Good and bad and everything. Yeah, I'm just reading the comments. Hmm. Yeah, I did. I talked about that, about Diddy's bail. They said that this was the fifth time that it's been denied. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was saying about President Trump denying the bail again. Well, I mean President Trump talking about the pardon and how they were friends before, and then all of a sudden, and people do turn. I'm not saying Diddy did this or didn't, but people do. Sometimes people find a reason to get mad at you for something that they did to you. So it's all about people's intentions and what their intentions are, because everybody don't have good intentions. So you just have to pray about what people are in your life and for what reason. And did you guys read about Kim Zolciak, the Tardy for the Party singer from Real Housewives of Atlanta? Well, she's a former cast member of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So something came out. She was married to NFL, a former NFL Croy. I think his last name was Bierman. And she was married to Croy Bierman. They went through a real public divorce. And and one of her daughters is claiming that her mom pretty much wiped out her bank account. And Kim, responded to her daughter and she admitted, like, I was in a rough place. I had to use your money for bills. We had to live, we had to eat, we had to. What do you think? Do you think that if it's okay if you're in a financial distress to take it upon yourself and use funds that are not yours, that belongs to your children, you know? That's a rough decision right there. Because the money can be paid back. That's Money can be paid back. I'd rather us have somewhere to live and utilities than to not have anything, and there's money sitting here that could have been used for that. That money could be made again. So I can't say that I would fault her for that, but to each its own. You have to decide those type decisions, for yourself and what you think, is good. But her daughter seems to be forgiven. Um, Her mom did say she has started to repay her back, and if they're okay with it, I don't even know why it would even be a public topic. I don't know how it became a public topic. If the daughter and the mom are on good terms about what happened, I don't know why it became some type of discussion. But it is, and it was. And now you have, like I said about Shannon Sharpton, he settled the suit, and now out the blue, there's another one. And it does appear that he may be in the works of settling that one as well. I just think that once you start to settle, and especially if you have other situations similar to the one you settle, of course they're going to come out and say, okay, well, you settle with them, you should settle with me as well. So yeah, and then to what else came out this week? Deion Sanders announced that he has cancer, so we definitely keep want to keep prime time in our prayers, our thoughts, and sending him positive energy and vibes as he get through that difficult medical crisis that he's having. I think he had surgery. I think he had a bladder removed um, from his cancer, and the internet was on fire because Carucci posted the video of her and Dion, and she pretty much seems to be by his side as a companion. And then there were pictures popping up saying that she was friends with Tracy Edmonds, who is Deion Sanders' ex fiance. And so there was like Tracy is the person that gave Carucci a start and put her on this project and that project. And I think Claudia Jordan was the one who said that she's good friends with Tracy and that Tracy had came to Carucci and she had asked her at a party, was she involved with Deion Sanders? And they said allegedly she said no. So that probably can get a little messy, if someone see that's the thing I don't like. Don't be in my face and you know what you're doing. You know. Don't just, you that but see people do this sometimes. They covet other people's things, whether it be their cars, their houses, their spouses, their girlfriends, instead of praying and let God send you your own. People covet other people's things. So, shout out to Dion and hope whoever he choose be with him, to help him get through this medical crisis. I guess that's all that matters. Yup. And then what else they were saying? They were saying that Wendy Williams is saying that she has evidence that the lawyers that were supposed to be, fighting for her, that they were all in cahoots, going against her, trying to keep, it's like everybody wanted a piece of her fortune. So it's like a lot of people, and these, again, my comments and my opinion is alleged, um, and just my opinion. A lot of people wanted a piece of the pie, and had their hand in um, trying to make decisions for her, trying to find her unfit so that way, you know, she could have a guardian and then they could make these claims against her money and get payouts and things of that nature. And then you have her ex husband Kevin coming in and he's trying to claim some more money. So it's a lot, it's a lot. So definitely sending our prayers up to Wendy Williams because she's definitely battling her sanity. She's battling to keep her fortune that she's worked really hard to build for herself. Um, so yeah, that's what's going on with that situation. And I've had the privilege of being a caretaker for an adult before. So I know, that can be rough. Um, and it's a hard situation, especially when they're trying to prove this an adult is incompetent, but the adult has, feels that they are competent. That's kind of difficult, especially when she feels like so many people are against her. That has to be a scary feeling. You got all these people saying that you're incompetent, but you don't feel like you're incompetent. So she's actually battling now. Wendy Williams has started to fight back. And I think she should. I think if she feels that she is competent and she feels that these people are making these decisions not in her best interest, I think she should fight back. I think she definitely should. Also, congratulations to Devon Franklin, him and his new wife. He recently got married, remarried in California. And I saw some of the pictures. It was really beautiful. So, congrats to him. And just, guys, send me any questions that you may have. It's the end of the week, and we're definitely winding down. Want to also send our prayers to young jug man Ralph. Looks like money. He smells like money. He had a emergency medical condition as well, where he was hospitalized. So we definitely lift him in our prayers and hope that he has a speedy recovery. Because it's definitely no fun being ill, and especially when it something surprisingly pops up. So we definitely gonna keep him in our thoughts and our prayers. What do you guys think about this Rashida challenge? This Rashida challenge going viral where people are pretending that they're inviting their loved one or friend or whatever to the Rashida concert. I mean, you know what? I am a Rashida fan, ATL fan, ATL Rashida. I love Rashida. So guess what? If y'all think y'all gonna prank me and call me with some Rashida concert jokes, guess what? I go. I go to hear Rashida. Sure will. So send me some real tickets. Quit playing. Y'all don't sleep on Rashida now. Rashida is from the A. Don't sleep on a real Georgia peach, all right? That's all I'm gonna say. Don't sleep on a Georgia peach now. Y'all, all jokes aside, all jokes aside. Oh Lord! And then I read about some gossip with Erica Mena, and I'm not even gonna repeat that because it's too much. It's too, and I hope and pray that is not true because it's definitely too much gossip in the world of love and hip hop. And Lil Scrappy has a new girlfriend, Brittany the Realtor. Shout out to Scrap. That's one of my other faves. Um, and we wish Scrap well. Scrap deserves true love. How about that? And there was a lot of controversy online with his new baby mama. People are saying, well, what did she think? Did she think, moving down here and getting a baby from a threesome was going to make him want to be with her? Who knows? You know, who knows? But I tell you one thing, they got a beautiful baby boy. So, it's just entertainment. We don't know how much of their lives is portrayed for the cameras. We don't know how much is actually true. And that's the thing. People see clips of things on television and think that they know these people and they know the full story, and that's just totally far from the truth. We only get a little bit. Now, I do say that some, like my thing is, I think I would say about 70% of reality TV is real, and about 30% is acting. But for the most part, yeah, there is real, and it's drama, but also we all know that you got to be entertained, and nobody don't want to watch a boring television show. So you got to understand that some of that is definitely acting, and some of it is, to make the ratings go up, and you know things of that nature. So, and let me tell you, and a lot of people are in an uproar because President Trump is calling people out. He made a comment about Gayle King and how she wasn't a smart person, and I actually like her response. I think it was very professional, and then she didn't throw insult for insult. She handled it kind of classy. I like her response. He also called out Charlemagne the God, and that was kind of comical to me because he said, "Who told him to call himself a god?" And Trump is off the chain, and Charlemagne did respond. So yeah, it's getting kind of heated, and I think they said Beyonce responded too because President Trump is saying, which honestly, I had heard those allegations prior to Trump saying that. I heard that Kamala did have to pay Beyonce millions of dollars, and she did have to pay Oprah millions of dollars. But I never knew whether those allegations were true or not. But I did hear those allegations prior to Trump saying it, and Trump just said it. He said he's alleging that Oprah, Al Sharpton, Beyonce, and they were paid all these money, this political money to endorse Kamala. And he's saying that that's illegal, and they said that Beyonce came back and said, "Hold up now, I didn't need Kamala millions because I made millions from my tour." I know that's right, B. Queen B said she made her own millions, so she didn't need Kamala's millions. But it's kind of funny to me because I know a lot of people are not um, for Trump. I know that they don't like Trump. But at the same time, in the words of Nelly, I respect the presidency and the office of the president. So I'm not going to be saying anything negative about President Trump or whoever the president in office. Because my opinion is there's always going to be someone who you're not going to always agree with everything. You may not like every decision that a president makes or an elected official makes. You just got to try to put the ones in office that most reflects the views and the beliefs and values that you believe in. We're not going to always agree, and that doesn't mean that that person is a horrible person. It's just that we're just not going to always agree. So no, I'm not a Trump basher. I actually think some of the things he say is very comical, and my honest opinion sometimes is that people they they don't like his straightforwardness. He's just straightforward with it, whether you agree or not. Yeah, he said it. So to each his own. That's why it's important to vote, and it's important to make our voices heard and put the people in office that reflects our values. And that's all I would continue to say. Just make your voice heard. If you don't like a particular candidate, then do what you can to put someone in office that reflects what you believe in, you know? So, and that comes to my next topic. Do you think that President Trump will be able to change the rules of the presidency and be able to continue with another term in office because currently there's only an 8-year term for the president, and this will be his final term if he's not able to successfully change that as well. He may change that. He may make it where he can stay another term. You know, it's interesting now. That's all I can say. We just have to wait and see because I don't know. And then I also heard that Elon Musk is also starting his own political party. So I think that is going to be a big clash in the end. I just don't think that he's going to be able to run against Trump and it not be a clash or it not be some type of debate where some secrets may or may not come out. So it's definitely interesting to see what exactly is going to happen with that. And you know what? I also want to know what ended up happening with Fonnie Willis and the Georgia committee that was going after her. I haven't heard anything about that lately, so I want to know. I got to check into that because I want to see what's the update on that, what's going on with that. I know they were trying to subpoena her and all of this, but I don't know if they were even successful. I don't know if it's closed case now. Sometimes things just happen and it goes away, and nobody ever knows the final resolution of the matter. And that's something that I definitely want to follow up with to see what happened with that. Because that's something that I definitely want to know. But yeah, guys, I was waiting, and our thoughts and prayers are with Big Jeff. I know he had an emergency en route here, so we definitely want to lift him in prayer. I thought I heard him out there, but he may still be dealing with that. So we definitely want to keep Big Jeff and our thoughts and prayers, and let us know if you guys have any questions and you guys want us to answer them. We are going to start coming at a more set time so we can get our audience back up. Because we know y'all want to know. Because we know that we read the messages. I see the messages. You guys are contacting us. And we welcome you guys on the show. Big Jeff has given us his number multiple times. So if you guys want to come and have a talk with us and host a show, let's go. We welcome you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see. Anything else? What am I missing, guys? What am I missing? I did a brief rundown of the week and what went on during the week, and let's see. You know what else I read? I read that Boosie Badass accepted a plea in his federal gun case. I think it was a gun case. I know he had a federal case, and I read somewhere earlier that he accepted a plea, and that tired of dealing with it. And that that happens a lot though. Sometimes people just say, you know what, just let me pay that fine. Let's go on and get this case over with. Let me go ahead and plea out. Let me take this plea. We've talked about that before on the show. Cause sometimes it's just it's tiresome. Have to keep going back to court, keep getting it continue, not knowing what is going to happen next. So it's just interesting. And you know what else happened this week? President Trump put, and I'm not laughing because it's all this stuff that's happening. It's just, it seems unreal. You know, things that have never happened before in history. So it's like, wow. So my reaction is a wow. So earlier this week as well, President Trump put a $50 million bounty on the Venezuelan president because President Trump said that the president conspired with vicious gang members, and so like I said, one thing for sure is President Trump gonna keep us with some with some news. He gonna keep us with some news, with some issues. There's never a dull moment with the Trump administration. I tell you that. So that's happening. So we're definitely going to see what happens with that. You know, and I think he should. A lot of people were saying, I was reading earlier too, the debate about whether or not President Trump should allow felons to serve in the army since he's making all these changes where, you can't be transgender. You have to make a decision on which way, as far as your gender. And people were saying that he should make a change also and let felons be able to join the army. And I think too, I've said that before on the show as well, because I know in South Carolina there is a program where first-time felons could waive their or divert their sentencing and um, choose to serve in the military. And I think that would be an awesome, a great idea. You know, I think that's something that President Trump should reconsider and um, just reconsider that and implement changes with that rule, that procedure, saying that you have to be, um, you can't have a felony. At least say at least the first time offender should still be able to go. It just should be. It's time for nationwide criminal justice reform, and I think with the 34 felonies that the president should definitely look into making those adjustments, seeing how easy it is to catch a felony, and being that he has that situation, I think he should be more empathetic in making some changes to help those that have those labels that are not as fortunate as he is to get around um, that labeling of being a felon. And because pretty much everything it asks you on every application, whether it's an apartment, are you a convicted felon on a job, and I think with his record now, he should be more inclined to make some changes in the way that is handled. So hopefully we'll see that, because like I said, um, I'm definitely not a Trump basher. Um, Although I may not agree with everything that he does, and that's what anybody do. I may not have agreed with everything if Kamala was in office. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So guys, I don't see any more questions. I am going to wish you all a great and a happy, happy weekend. And we'll see you at the same time next Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And hopefully, my pilot, Big Jeff, will be in the driver's seat with me next week. You guys, again, feel free to let us know if you want to um, host or if you'd like to have a topic that we discuss. We'll do that for you guys. And let me see if you guys have the email address. You can email me at 100nbtt at gmail.com. 100nbtt, nothing but the truth at gmail.com. 100nbtt at gmail.com. I am also at Absolute Justice Now on Instagram. Feel free to give me a follow. You can reach me there as well. And we like to give thanks to our engineers here at No Days Off Radio. They're also on Instagram, No Days Off Radio. You can follow them as well. And until next week, guys, this is Shanita, and I am signing out. And this is Nothing But The Truth. I'm out.
What's your name? What's your name? Zabo? Ooh, that's different.